Hello, what's going on, everyone? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're dealing with the excitement in positive ways. And if you're new to the channel, I hope you follow along and maybe give me a like and a subscribe for future Path of Exile content to be coming around. So I thought I'd make this because, do you feel like you're on a never-ending journey or quest to find that just right ARPG for you? Or maybe have you felt betrayed by your favorite game or company or series? Do you feel like maybe there's no community or that community just isn't heard by the developers? Well, over here, Path of Exile, I think we should welcome any and all over here at our table. Everyone is welcome at this table for us to dine and enjoy the fruit of this amazing venture. I think that this is a great place for newcomers and PoE veterans alike. So I put this video together to help share a few things to think about if maybe you're new to Path of Exile, or maybe a good refresher if you're returning, or just if you're used to different games in this kind of genre and you want to try it out. These are just some good tips and things to think about if you're going to check it out. December 6th is coming super soon. We are only within 6 days away, and I don't know about you, I can't wait. So let's get into it. So one of the things that I think is just always probably one of the biggest things with Path of Exile is the build diversity. And you know that with Path of Exile 2, it's going to be a huge open playing field for as much as your mind can just put together. I mean, this game encourages you to think outside of the box. So whether you want to make a spell-casting warrior or a bow-wielding witch, there's literally almost no end or boundaries to the possibilities. Of course, there's going to be the go-to, starter characters that are just kind of straightforward. There's going to be the cookie-cutter builds, of course, but there's always also this huge open horizon to the off-meta magic that we see. And I'm excited to see what other creators are going to be able to put together, what the craziness we're all going to be able to just kind of, feed off of each other. And, oh yeah, you did that? Well, hold my beer. Anyways, so that's out of the way. Another thing that we should talk about is the difficulty. Now, when I first started Path of Exile 1, I started back out in 2012. I quit that game, I think, twice before the third time and finally getting hooked on it. I wasn't used to such depth, I guess you'd say. I mean, I'd played Grim Dawn, and there gets to be some pretty good depth with like the devotion system and stuff like that. But I wasn't clicking for me. But granted, this only was getting me maybe into like Act 2, but the difficulty in this game is there, especially with the sequel. This game is meant to be challenging. A huge focus on bosses as well as the different combinations of enemies that are going to be coming at you. You're going to face adversity, that is for sure. The challenge and then the thrill of overcoming the challenge is a huge aspect of this game. And there's nothing like feeling that reward when you're trying something that's kind of at the cap of like where your gear is going to let you go and your skills and the things you put together. It's like challenge. When you finally overcome that, the feeling of satisfaction is just way up there. I mean, it really does remind me of Diablo 2 when you find a good item or a high rune or something like that. This feeling is in this game, and it's one of my favorite things about it. So the campaign is generally going to serve as a prime way of introducing and familiarizing players with some of the more complicated patterns and maybe techniques that the monsters have that you're going to encounter in the end game. That's going to be even jacked up times 100. It's going to be crazy. Now, I think the next aspect that I think is really cool and something that you should think about is there's no area scaling. Like when you beat a certain thing like in Act 1 and you get into Act 2 and you're having some trouble, you can go back to lower leveled areas and go farm up a little bit over there, get some currency items to help you craft, or maybe some better drops will happen to help you progress through. I really like that. I like that if you kind of are getting stuck in an area, you can go back and feel a little bit stronger again while also getting new items. This is a huge piece to me. It's one of the best things about Diablo 1 and Diablo 2, and one of my favorite things about Path of Exile, especially when you get into the end game, when you start doing maps and, you know, the higher tier maps. Or at least I'm referencing Path of Exile 1 right now. I don't know exactly how that's going to work in Path of Exile 2, but when you'd get to the maps, you start getting up into the higher tiers and you'd start to hit like, whoa, these are getting really hard. You could tone it back. You could roll back on like the lower tiers, like ramp up again and then keep going. Now, that kind of leads into the next topic here is endgame options. If you're looking for something to do after you've completed the campaign, oh, that's just the beginning in Path of Exile 2. It's going to release with 7 different modes or mechanics that are going on, and there's going to be plenty of things to do in the end game. That's one of the things that Path of Exile is strong about. I'm not going to lie, Path of Exile 2 and Path of Exile 1, in my opinion, started to have a little bit too much content bloat. At least for me, I have children, I'm married, and I need to, you know, I can only tackle so much content at a time, so maybe that's just something for me. I just kind of couldn't keep up with all of the League content, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think with people with more time on their hands, this is like an excellent piece of the game. So, it's kind of like a pro and like a, not necessarily negative, it's kind of like an undetermined and a pro at the same time. So either way, I think it's a good thing. Can't wait to see how it plays out, though. So now I'm going to add right here, if you're going to play the early access, that means that you've probably at least given the $30 to get in, and in turn that gives you 300 points that you could spend on microtransactions in the store. And one of the really cool things is that the microtransactions have no in-game like effect on your character for being more powerful. But the one thing that I'm going to recommend for sure is if you've getting access to if you are donating to get early access and you're looking, maybe, what should I spend these points on? I highly recommend some form of like a stash tab. You can get premium stash tabs that you could label. You know, that's very helpful once you start getting if you have a few stash tabs. Or one of my favorite ones is the currency tab. I mean, you get a lot of different currency things and they stack up and there's a lot. You can just throw them in the stash tab that has, I think, up to 5,000 of each types of currency, and it really, really, really helps clear up stash space. So just want to recommend that. It's a good place to spend those points that you're donating to get early access. Now, another thing that we can talk about that might attract you to this game definitely is like one of the top things on mine is the boss design. I love the boss design, and it's not like, one of the things that I really like about it is not all the bosses are just like the whole entire screen. Some of them feel very like organic to the environment or natural, or like there's one boss in the earlier videos that came out of some water. Just the way that they move and get up, they feel almost more scary because they're more kind of believable, I guess you'd say, right? Like
the stench, it's getting worse.
So I think the boss design's epic. I kind of really am enjoying the idea of you have to think about them. They're going to hurt you, you know, as opposed to other games where you could just spam all your abilities and do billions of damage or whatever it is and knock them out in just a split second. This is going to be kind of cool. I'm sure there's going to be a point where you can do a lot of damage and take care of them pretty quickly, but when you get through the campaign and as you're building characters, I think it's going to be really engaging. It's going to be incredibly fun to see what kind of things you can do with your skills to set things up for bigger hits and, you know, moving out of the way and just being, you know, just acknowledging your environment and being aware of your surroundings and what's going on. So that's going to be an interesting thing to pay attention to. I mean, we're going to be surprised by some of these different boss encounters for sure. Obviously, one of the biggest things about the game is the itemization. If you're a fan of Diablo 2, then this is going to feel like a nice natural progression. Or if you're into Diablo 3 and 4 and you feel like you'd like a deeper itemization, this game is definitely going to be for you. You've got your rare items, you have magic items and regular items. They are unique items, and you can corrupt these items to get really interesting mods that don't generally spawn on them. So you can craft your items, you can target, farm and craft your items. It's just pretty amazing. If you're really looking for something specific, you can actually build it yourself. So pretty cool. The customization of the game is just totally unmatched. I love all this background stuff. Look at this, like, just looks beautiful. Yeah, that tailored into the crafting, I think that's just really amazing that you can specifically create the attributes that you're looking for. I mean, it's not going to be cheap at times, but you might land on something that could be a jackpot. And maybe when you're done, you could sell it to other players and, do trading. That dovetails straight into trading. I love the fact that you can trade the items that you find to other players for things that you need. Trading in a game like this, in my opinion, is one of the most important things. I absolutely personally cannot stand account-bound items. It is just annoying to me. I mean, I get it if it's a game that is loot raining from the sky, whatever. It's probably not going to be hard to get those items anyway. But finding something super valuable or a crafting currency that's super valuable that you could use to trade is just incredible. Also, last couple things I want to shout out is like the company itself, Grinding Gear Games. This is a company that absolutely pays attention to the player feedback. They're very, very transparent. If something, if everyone's waiting on like a league or a launch or something and they know that something is going wrong, they're very transparent. They tell you what they're working on. They even tell you a lot of times what the problem is. They're super transparent, very active with the community, and it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you're part of it. I mean, they take player feedback. They're passionate about their game. They're passionate about how it's going to live down the road. They want a long-running title, and I agree. I mean, I want to play a game that I could get into for a long time and really learn its ins and outs. And specifically with this game, I've never been as excited for a game, that I could really think of. I mean, Diablo 2 Resurrected was one of my favorites, but this, I think, is going to surpass that because I'm excited to play every single character. Every one. I can't tell you another game that I've literally wanted to play every character. There's nothing that sounds boring to me. Maybe some things sound more fun than the others, but I want to play everything that they're going to be dishing out. So that's pretty amazing. So with that being said, I just kind of wanted to put this out there, and I think that this community, and when this game comes out, we should have open arms. We should accept everybody that wants to come in and try something new, whether you're coming from Last Epoch, if you're a Diablo 2 player, if you're a Diablo 4 player, if you're coming from just original Path of Exile 1 like me, or Diablo 2 like me, whatever or if you've never even tried it before. It is going to be a little bit more of a challenging game if you've never tried something like this, but I also just want to encourage to use the forums, use the community. There's a lot of people out there that are going to be really willing to help you, to really talk things out with you. Just check it out. And remember, this is one of my favorite games of all time, and I quit twice before I actually got hooked onto it. Sometimes you have to get some of those old ways of thinking and old ways of thinking what you should see out of a game. You got to get rid of it. This is a new experience. Just let it be. See if you can vibe with it. Maybe if you get a little ways through and you're not having that much fun, try rolling another character. See what it is. Sometimes it's just about learning the mechanics or learning a certain boss or learning how things work together before, it starts blossoming in your head, and then things start to not feel as daunting to you. So I just want to encourage some people. All of us, we should help each other out, use those forums. Yeah, I'm just really excited. We have 6 days left. I hope you're like me, finding ways to cope with it. I'm trying to make some content here, and if you want to see some more Path of Exile content, please do like and subscribe. Let me know what you think. Drop some comments down there. Let's have some discussion. And until next time, keep learning and leveling up. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Peace out.